Mr. Jerry Chukwueke joins us again today, and we're focusing on security. Well, yes, it's not over until it is. And can this ever be over? Because, I mean, Mr. Chukwueke, thank you for coming on this morning again today. But if we examine how things are playing themselves out, yes, the National Conference also quick to remind us that what's going on in the northeastern part of the country is not their problem, it is ours, because Nigeria, we all have got to stand up and sort this out because it's affecting us all in one way or the other. Do you share that sentiment?
Oh, absolutely. The security is certainly a major issue for all of us now. And if you narrow it down to even a local argument, if you live in a small community and you have a nice big home and you have your generating set working all the time and you have people who look after you, and right around you are people who have no power supply and have no food and basic necessities of life, you become indeed in harm's way. So you can't even be secure in the midst of insecurity. So coming out of even small communities, you find that investment in communities and in self-empowerment projects, whatever ways you can become an active member of the community, in ways that give others the opportunity to have their dreams too, give you more security. That's the best way I can put it. So indeed, it is an issue all of us at all levels must focus on, no doubt about that.
But for us to do that effectively, because you have a lot of people, citizens who want to help, but there has to be that framework.
Absolutely.
Leadership has got to, they don't have to take the bull by the horn. They have to just lead the way. Are they doing this?
Well, I agree with you. And this is the challenge Nigerians face and must confront in my view. Leadership has become the big deal. That's the issue at all levels. Because when you stand up and you make that commitment that this is the one country we have, the one community we have, that nowhere else in the world would give us a sense of home, and that we have a moral responsibility, and it is in our own interest to focus on how these security concerns can be addressed, then we'll start to do the job. For example, if you look at how states are run today, and in fact local governments, the leaders that are doing a better job are those who have a strategic community security network in all communities linked to the center, meaning the state security structure. And these community network security personnel actually work for the state government or local government in their communities. They are trained, they're equipped, they have the necessary support they need, and the communication and connect is in place.
Isn't that
For example, Anambra State is doing a better job at it.
But isn't that the type of policing that we all seem to be, or most people seem to be running away from?
That's not what I'm talking about. You're talking about state police. I'm talking about
multi-level policing.
Well, what people are running away from is the concern that when states begin to control security, that indeed it could become an opportunity to have further national instability. That's the argument they're running.
How can...
Well, because if you have a state police that is equipped and tooled and under the control of a state governor, for example, you've created something that can be deployed in a way that it wasn't designed to be deployed. So that's the political side. Okay, I want to focus really on the security point that you made.
Let's look at it in this other way, because there's another side to the coin.
Yes.
I mean, you've been around. You know how it happens in other climes. It's not absolute. You know that there's a limit to which police in a state can go.
Absolutely.
And then a federal can come in another way. So why can't we sit down and work out all of those modalities and address those fears? Because if we keep running away from it, are we solving the problem?
But the issue is that we've got to have a leadership that is prepared to subject itself to checks and balances. That's part of the challenge. When you don't have a set of disciplined leaders who understand the importance of the leadership role they have to play and are disciplined enough to focus on it. And there are no checks and balances in place. Yep. We're in trouble. For example, how do you talk about a state police where in many states in this country today, even the respective houses of assembly in their states are emasculated, are comatose. They're not even providing the most basic of their responsibility, the checks and balance system. So the governor becomes the lawmaker, the executor, the judge and jury.
But again, not
That's
absolute.
the problem.
Not absolute, because now we see some states, I don't know, whatever they say, being prodded from somewhere, they're moving against their governors now.
But look at they're in the minority, and we encourage that. Because what we want is to mature to that point where state police and state security can become something that works for our states. I mean, let me give you another example. Would you think that state police in Borno State would have done a better job in containing the menace of these political thugs called Boko Haram?
How can we know when it has never happened?
That's the point. The point is that we need to mature to that point, and we're all anxious to get to that point. This country needs to get to that point. But let's take it in stages. And I come back again to the immediate security issues. First of all, I believe that security must be looked upon or looked at holistically. Holistically in the sense that security involves the business of, quite frankly, reducing poverty, creating opportunities for our people economically. Our people are entitled to have a good level of their dreams met, particularly those that are willing and also those that are able. Because the job of leadership becomes to make the willing able and make the able winning.
What should the states be doing
that's the key.
Because they're very important.
Yes.
You can see, for instance, Lagos State have started doing some form of registration and some form of awareness for you to know your neighbor and know when to blow the whistle just in case all else has failed. What would you be saying to some other states when you talk about getting them a template to watch over happenings in their locality?
Well, part of it is that where you have communities and leaders that understand the importance of community security networking or policing, and you have proper training, you got to have adequate training. You got to have, and when I'm talking about training, I'm not talking about politicians who go out and hire political thugs and call them security network people because they want to deploy them for elections. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a focused training program where you have members of their respective communities that work for the state government as part of the security network, not just with the training, with the equipment, communication, and they're able not only to keep an eye on their communities, but to be able to get that information to where action can come to play. That is important, because when you move it the other way, and I spent over now nearly a year and a half in Imo, for example, and in many parts of the Southeast, and I understand what's going on out there. When it comes to security, you got unemployment. A lot of times, schools and universities are not delivering the quality of education where these young people can gain entry to good paying jobs. Many a time, the curriculum is not as such that they are not even geared towards the jobs in the local economy. There are just so many lost opportunities. First, we've got to get our people moving again. It's not so difficult to do. I was asking somebody in Imo a few days ago, and I said, what is the big deal having agricultural zones in each local government, where government partners in a joint venture way to bring equipment, tools, high-grade fertilizer, high-yield crops, and says, hey, we can grow corn, we can grow cassava, we can grow maize, we can grow sorghum. Let's store them. Let's give you the opportunity to grow them. Let's give you a buyback contract. Let's be that bridge you need to grow, and we can find you market value, you make money, and we don't lose money.